till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up? What up? What's up? A little bit of mute action there on tax day, April 15th here on Sports Money. You'll find Pregaming every 6 p.m. during the week, trying to help you guys read these lines, figure out these movements, who's got what to play for, what kind of props we're on, how we're going to get paid with plus money action. And that's what we have in front of us this evening. Hope everybody's well. Hope you got those taxes underway. And it's time for us to get underway here. We got ourselves a nice slate, and we got to start early. We got a 6:40 baseball game, so we do have to get moving. Some technical difficulties. Seems like I'm always having technical difficulties, doesn't it? It feels like that to me. Feels like that to me. I'm not sure what is going on there. It don't matter. You don't got to see me to hear me. But you got to hear me to play the plays that I'm getting involved with here today, because I am fired up. It's tough. I hear a lot of people talking NHL, and it's hard to find plays that mean something. I fired up the NHL tonight. I could have gone even deeper. I'll talk about some of the other plays that I like as well. I did some lengthy parlays too, just trying to have a little fun. A couple games left, and then we're going to be into the playoffs and best of 7 series. But we do have a big baseball card. I even added a play in the baseball card. I wanted to wait. I talked a little bit about why yesterday, and I think we found a spot to hammer on. Washington, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Baltimore. The Angels, Texas. That's baseball. Or that's NHL. And then they added the Toronto and Atlanta game. Got a spot in that game as well. So we'll have 4 deep in Major League Baseball. NHL, we've got Toronto, Buffalo, Anaheim, Minnesota, Utah, St. Louis, the Kings in Seattle to bring us home. Man, I could have fired on a whole bunch of extra games here. Want to give you the plays that I'm involved with, though, not just the spots that I speculate on here, but this is also a little spite time of year, right? I say it time and again, the Flyers are too stupid to know they should lose. They're crushing themselves with getting a top draft pick, but here they go. Probably a good spot for them to lose. The Senators aren't starting anybody. Probably a good spot for them to lose against the Blackhawks. And I think the Bruins have been losing all season. It's probably a good spot for them to win to finish the season off. Tampa, Florida feels like an under. Those two teams will be playing each other in the playoffs. They don't want to show each other very much. Islanders and Capitals, if the tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, doesn't even make a sound. Vegas and Calgary. Vegas has absolutely nothing to play for. It's got to be a Calgary spot, right? It's a quick rundown of some NHL games that I'm not on, but some thoughts and the ways that I was leaning on these things. And speaking of plays that get involved with, we talked about them last night. How about the young buck in Montreal? The Habitants Demidov goes out there in the first period, pops an assist, then he pops a goal. Pops the goal, both in the first period. And that was fun. No Suzuki. Bum. But he's not a bum, but what I did notice here, and let's talk about it. We might as well bring it up right off the hop. Let me see if I can find it right off the hop. How about that? Let's see if I can find it first. There we go. Just do this. And we'll do that. Okay. We're good. We're ready. Let's bring her up. We got not a lot of time to waste. Get right to work, talk some high-level thoughts, then we'll get back into the business of the business here at hand. And let's do this. Let's do that. Don't really need to see me. It's okay. Here's what we got. Shared it with you guys yesterday. 12.5 units. I think it was actually 12.35 of green guys The Green Goblins gobbled it up last night. If you played them all for $100, you made $835 free and clear. It was easy money. And if you put some of them in parlays, same game parlays, you smoked them. So this is that chasing report. This is what you don't hear a lot of. You'll hear a lot of NHL people talking about. It's tough this time of year, right? It's 4 days left. You don't want to play with teams that don't have anything. A lot of people don't realize what this meaning is. To get a 20-goal scorer or a 30-goal scorer in the NHL, those are milestones. Those are big milestones in these players' careers. It affects their current contracts and it affects their renewal contracts. If you become a 20-goal scorer, you're no longer playing off of league minimums and such and so forth. I mean, it's just obvious. But a lot of people don't think about it because they're like, these guys are done. Now, what I do look at with some of these teams, like look at this Boston and New Jersey game tonight. There's nobody on this list. So you got two teams with nothing to play for and there's nobody on the list. Well, that's a game you absolutely should just stay away from. There's no reason to get involved in that game unless you're a fan of either of those teams and you just want to get cute with it. I'll tell you what, I'm a fan of the Flyers. Nothing on the Flyers side here to play for. There is some things for Columbus with Monahan to catch a goal at plus 240 tonight. Ottawa Senators, I mentioned they'll be sitting their potential 30-goal scorer, so Brady Tkachuk. Now, here's the thing. You think about it. They're sitting this guy. Does it matter that he doesn't get 30 goals? To him, it probably does. To the organization as a whole, it does not. Ever since the Four Nations, he has lit himself on fire. Just been crazy cashing out there. And then the one that we're going to want to pay attention to is 2 days from now, the last game of the season for the Pittsburgh Penguins, Brian Rust, right? There's a couple of guys with some big price tags. Now, last night, you look at these price tags and you think they're stupid, right? Look at this. Dadonov gets it done for Dallas at plus 475. Big spot out there. Here's a guy that I like tonight. I like Beniers tonight. I like both those guys for Seattle, but it's a tricky game for me, and we'll talk about it. I really like Zetterlund in Ottawa. I have him in a play. I like Bushnevich, excuse me. Tripped over the V's, C's, and H's on that one. Because it's a St. Louis game and they got a lot on the line. So you need one of your guys. You need a role player. 20 is the role. 20, you're a role player. Well, not just a role player, but you may or may not be top six, but you're certainly a guy that they depend on, and that's where they need to step up. It's these bums up here, these top 30s. It's hard to get to 30. Suzuki couldn't do it last night. Larkin couldn't do it last night. Lots of goals scored in both those games. We talked about no Tkachuk tonight. The way that I approach these is I left these guys separate, and I parlayed them all in single parlay. I want to say it was like 75-1, something like that. Because I think it's just what I realized last night. Maybe it's a short sample, but hard to get to that 30 spot. Then we go down here. Love this guy right here. Brian McLeod. Now, some people will say, look at the price tag. It's crazy. It's outrageous. Yeah. But look at Dadonov last night. The highest guy on the card cashed. You have to take that out and exempt that. Dallas needed this guy to step up. He did. Buffalo. This kid here, Ryan McLeod, comes out of Edmonton. He was in part of a trade from the Edmonton Oilers. And if you look at his pedigree, I mean, junior hockey, OHL involvement, gets over to Edmonton. Lots of things to like about this kid. And he will be a role player as they rebuild this young team in the Buffalo Sabres. We know Tage Thompson. Well, guess what? Tage Thompson's got like 44 goals. He's not going to get to 50. So he can build out his points by feeding guys like McLeod at plus 450. So, other things to keep in mind. Vegas not starting Mark Stone tonight. Now, does it matter? Maybe to Mark Stone it does. But it's not to Vegas. They know who Mark Stone is. They don't need him. They got nowhere to move in the playoff positioning, so there's no benefit to these guys. And those are the kind of things that are difference makers here when it comes to capitalizing in the NHL. As I said, a lot of people don't realize it. Like, they just don't know what it means. Like, okay, yeah, they're going to be a 20-goal scorer. To be a 20, watch next time you watch the NHL and you start seeing some of these guys talking about their careers or their previous seasons, you wait and hear it. These are benchmarks. These are milestones for these NHL players. And we cashed a whole bunch with them last night. So it was a lot of fun. Tried to catch a couple parlays in there. Couldn't get it done, but still a couple round robins did cash, some two-leggers for some decent cash as well. So over 8.5 units. Nope. That's the hottest list in sports right now. No sport, no cappers, no shows, no nothing are going to show you a single document that has over 8.5 units on it from one night. Fact. That's why sports money is the best goddamn show in the business. And it's not just here in this beautiful money sheet. It's our chat. It's our community that's being built here. You guys make this place fantastic. I love the comments. I saw you guys commenting last night, telling me about your NHL or your PGA winners catching Rory live. I love hearing that. We talked about that as a strategy. My man gets it done. We got all kinds of great comments coming in. We got some Trump type comments out there saying this is a good list. Some would say it's the best list. Kelly V, all you guys, we appreciate the comments. Those help us so much. You don't even know the volume is picking up here. We're getting more people in here, more views, more comments, more. I love it, you guys. I think that's it's really what makes this thing so special. I can ask you to comment. I can't make you comment. I wish I could, because I'd get on Oldie's case. I'd get on. No, I'm just kidding. But you guys making those comments definitely helps us out a ton. It sends a big message. It reverberates through the social media community that sports money is here to stay. And we love to play. We love to get these games in us. We love to have these big swing opportunities. We do need to get after it today, though. As I mentioned, 640 does not wait. So speaking of help, of course, I want to shout out my man, Ignatius Penny Feather, the 7th. Came in yesterday. He said, hey, I'm going to upgrade tomorrow. And guess what he did? He upgraded today. Today was tomorrow. If you know what I'm saying. Shout out to my man coming out there, being the newest gold member on our sports money team. We appreciate you, my friend. The enhanced support goes a long way. Helps us do lots of things here. Lots of things in development. Lots of programs. Lots of new shows coming. New shows are coming. Trust me, believe you me here. And it's perfect timing for it in the summertime here. But all the memberships aside, gifted memberships and donos, the like button, the comments are the two simplest things. Just show some appreciation, right? Did your parents ever say, hey, just show some appreciation? Did your friends ever, you like something they do, you high five? Well, the way you high five us is you smack that thumbs up button, you comment in the comment sections of the videos, and you can take a second to do that right now. I'm excited. Fired up for this card today. Not just fired up for the card. I'm fired up for these fucking props. I might have 20 player props laid out here tonight. And I got a big card. I got a lot of cash on the line here. Shout out to my guy that gave Bayern Munich in the European basketball. I'm sorry, I forgot who it was. I'll tell you what I did. I wrote it down here with Orlando Magic. That was the other play. I wrote it down. I played it. Got sweaty. Had to go to overtime. But thank you. Putting some money in my pocket. That's what I mean. We all work together, right? Winning's fun, but it's a lot more fun. Like, I struggle to sleep at night when I give you guys a bad play, or, sometimes the hook happens and it stinks even worse than just getting blown out. But I get excited when I can give you guys winning plays, and gets me fired up when you guys give me winning plays. So let's do more of that. Why don't we do that? Let's do just that. And of course, by smashing that thumbs up button, we will bring more winners in here. We will get more sharp cappers in here, and they will share their action. When they share their action, we will play it, and we will make more money here at Sports Money. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say. There's no VBMMA show today on Tuesday. There's no First Strike show tomorrow on Wednesday because there's no UFC. But there will be a live show on Friday. Friday, live show. PFL. They will be popping off another set of fight card. I think there's 8 fights on the card. I don't know. I'm making it up. I didn't even look. Could be 9. It's usually 8 or 9. I think last time was 8. So we'll get our MMA, we'll get our mixed martial arts fix in us here. And as I mentioned, new content coming to the Sports Money Network. So get yourselves ready. Speaking of getting ready, get that pen and paper ready. Our sharpest cappers in the business are here to give their best bets. They have been streaking And so are we. We will do just that here tonight. Share your best bets that are in there so that we can talk about them. Put them in the chat, I should say. And Joe T, Joe Sunburn is here. Joe SPF 5. Joe, I lather in the Florida sun from the Minnesota winters with baby oil. Thompson is here. He's got the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Marlins over 8.5. He's looking for runs. I love you'll look at my baseball card tonight. You'd think Jover made it for me. There's so many great windy conditions across 20-mile-an-hour winds are like the norm today across Major League Baseball. How are we not going to see some runs out there? David Wallace says Mookie Betts was fire last night. I gave that Mookie Betts play out. Apparently, I caught some flack for it. Tell me I didn't listen to your show without telling me I didn't listen to your show. Mookie Betts got there for us as well. Old E says you already know Finn's up. And Bluefish with the pointy face covering these team total overs, huh? I don't know what the fuck that means. Does that mean the Marlins team total over? I think that makes sense considering Jover is on the Diamondbacks Marlins over. Shout out to Gerald Jones is in the house. His best bet, Max Fried over 5.5 Ks. Minus. He's 35-21 after the Canadians lost. What a heartbreaker. Yeah, they got those points, man. You know, I don't want to overreact to a single game, but had they won that game, I would have thought they would have made me think differently about this Eastern Conference. They get the new KHL player in there who was an absolute fucking beast. And they got Suzuki, but Suzuki needs that 30th goal and he couldn't do shit. He was the lowest priced guy on the card. Makes me question what's going to happen with this Montreal team. I don't want to overreact to one game, but sometimes that is the headwind, the prevailing force. Shout out to Joe W. And Gerald Jones says he went 8-0. Yeah. Scott Blaster's in the house. My guy Redbeard's here. He likes Alonso RBI, Cruz RBI. Why did he over 6.5 Ks? There's Ignatius Pennyfeather, the 7th. Our newest gold members in the house. And Oldie's asking if Scott Blaster likes anything extra. Stop Geoengineers here says, let's get this shit. Good luck tonight, y'all. Thank you for the show, Mikey. Pip Slap. Sports money. Yeah, I was muted. I faux pas to start this thing off. It's this cord. Cord is broken. Gotta get a new mic. It's an expensive mic. I don't like the way it sounds when I don't like to hear myself back. Regardless. But I don't like the way it sounds, period. So I have to fix that. Daryl Jones. It's got Cleveland Baltimore over 8.5 on his card. Seems like stop GSS. Seems like all the gambling community ate off of MLB yesterday. Be careful today, folks. I hammered the San Diego Padres. When that line came down, I fucking unloaded. And then I smacked that Dodgers under. Late nights. Good stuff. The Futon Bets. He's got some action for us. What's going on here? There we go. Looks Cal Rowland. Vladdy Guerrero. Home run plus 2. Oh, that's a good reminder. I didn't put my 2 homer prop in there. Thank you for the reminder. Make a note. Let me make a note. I decided rather than trying to do 7 legs and crush a monster home run prop, that I would just max the prop out and take it to 2. I think I got 1 of 2 last night. Kenny Woods in the house. Peter Gracia's here, says Las Hobbs, legendary franchise. That kid's got to be mind-fucked, man. I'm not sure. I'm fairly positive. I have no inside information. But I'm going to take an educated guess. That kid speaks only Russian. He's coming to play in the NHL, so he probably thought he had to learn English. And he ends up getting to a city that only speaks French. His head's got to be going, whoa, what do I learn now? What do I learn now? Phil Gill says the Panthers are absolute scumbags for the no-show they did last night. They're on my scumbag list. I love it. Fuck them cats. David Wallace says we cashed the race yesterday. Can we take Boston today? Well, you know the narrative, right? Tampa Bay's lost 14 straight years on April 15th. Now, it's funny you mentioned that because I did say last night, 14-2 was the predicted score for that Tampa Bay game. Some thought I was just being a jerk. No. 16-1 was the final. I wish I had nailed 16-1. You guys would have been, I'd still be talking about it. But yeah. I still like Tampa today. I don't care. I don't care if they've never won 14 years. You're due. Stop Geo says the whole world's on Warriors today. I'll tell you what, we'll talk some NBA here too, but Steph Curry, in the century, in the 7th seed. Macy's Penny Feather says the Spunny Sports Money's where it's at. Let's go. Appreciate you guys. J-Main Robert McCormick's here. Gerardo Hernandez hit the like button. Nasty Nate thinks they smash. And David Walls thinks so too. All right. All right. Jerry Davis says it was Goran or Gordy's. Okay. Gorky, right? Gorky is who it was. Thank you. Yeah. Jerry Davis. Tailed it. Hell yeah. I'm all bought. Listen, I'll get that money. I don't care where it comes from. Fernando Mendoza says today's UCL games were fire. Villa coming. Huge line movement towards Villanova. Cash was all over. Oh, man, it was such a coordinated line movement play spot there. Good job. Philly Kill says Phillies -1.5 plus 130. Verlander fake train. Get on board. Peter Gracia likes the Red Sox and leans KC plus 1.5. Okay, thanks, Oli. So we call him a stick face, pool cue, sea monster. We call these Marlins a bunch of names. Redbeard, Nicholas Handy. Let's go. Big Scott up in this piece. He says Money Making Tuesday with the Pimpin' Sports crew. I already had my Taco Tuesday. Phillies, Columbus Blue Jackets, Moneyline Parlay, and Betts home run plus 800. Jerry Davis says, yeah, it was Gorky. Well, hopefully he comes back in so we can give us flowers, man. Listen, I love to shout you guys. I told you. No joke, man. I was sitting there this morning and I was like, oh, fuck yeah, Barcelona plays today. Let me get in on that. Oh, yeah. I had zero action until the UCL. Sub put me on a couple winners. For some player props, of course, we got his content out there for the sub club. So make sure you guys do follow us at Sports Money X. Sports Money Wins at X. Sports Money Wins at X. I was going to show you something else, but I'll wait. Maybe I'll throw it on the post tab. I don't know if you guys like seeing some of this stuff. I mean, to me, it's helpful. It's beneficial. It's part of the reason why we have the tools available to us. We try to use this technology to, make informed betting decisions is what it comes down to. So, I try to show you guys the top 20, top 30 reports. I'm putting it together myself. So it's not, it takes a little bit of time. I've got one ready for the early start of the season for Major League Baseball. Who's the winners and who's the losers. But I think that's a helpful one this time of year because they play so many damn games that the winners will become losers and the losers will become winners at some point in time. So I'll work on that maybe tonight and post it in the post tab. But anyhow, let's get to work. We've spent enough time butt rubbing, as they say. The Nationals are going to go out there and take on the Pirates tonight in what was a letdown last night spot. They couldn't find a way to get it done. 6-10, 6-11 out of those Pirates. Of course, we know the Pirates now. Skeens. What's going on? But they got Mitch Keller, a 4.24 ERA. Jake Irvin on the other side of the bump for these boys. We don't spend a lot of time in the NHL talking about line movement, although today I did look at it a little bit more. I will admit, today I looked at it a little bit more. It has been fire when it comes to soccer. It has been fire with the UFC. It's been pretty solid in baseball. And so we do want to get this kind of thing rolling here to kind of get it as a weather vane for what the hell is going on. And right now we've got reverse line movement to some extent on this Pirates team. Not a lot of belief that Mitch the bitch Keller can go out there and come up with a dub. 78% of the bets and 78% of the cash have landed on Mitch Keller. 96% of the bets, 91% of the cash on the over. The game has moved from 8 to 8.5. So the books kind of came in with this thing, right between the key numbers of 7 and 9 in baseball. To me, it kind of said that they couldn't think this thing goes either way. They weren't really sold on one side or the other. And what I had to do is I had to roll up the old sleeves. In fact, I'm not even wearing sleeves. So that's a lie. I lied to you guys. I'm sorry. I just lied to you. There was no sleeves to roll up. That yesterday's game was 10-3. And, if you look at the defense on the Pirates over the last 4 games, it's been 3, 4, and 2 5s in there that they have allowed the other team to score. Muddy, sloppy baseball, unless Skeens is out there mowing everybody down. And even with Skeens mowing people down, the 3.5s have been a terror. Yesterday's 3.5 for the first 5 under. Shit show. Now, we did talk about FanDuel having the best number yesterday. The best number yesterday, and it did not come through. It got busted wide open. On the other side of things here, you look at the Nationals, 3 runs, 4 runs, 6 runs, 7 runs, 5 runs, and peel the onion back between these two teams here. As you look deeper across the threshold, what you're going to notice here is there's a lot of guys in this lineup for the Nationals that not only have been hitting tonight or hitting this season, they're hitting against Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller certainly has some wear on those tires out there. And this one was pretty straightforward. I got a 20-mile-an-hour wind factor, kind of blowing left to right across the middle. And look, James Woods at 333. Keibert Ruiz, 333. Nathaniel Lowe's got nothing against this guy. He damn near had that home run last night, and he's been running. Josh Bell, 667. Luis Garcia, 364. That's just the top 5 in the order. Now, Paul DeJong, Dylan Cruz, Nassim Nunez, and Jacob Young all have 0 experience here. Well, not 0, but pretty damn close to no success against Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller's been bleeding runs. 4.24 ERA. He's 1-1 on the season. And he's walked 6 dudes. He's carrying a whip over 1.35. Windy conditions. I love Keibert Ruiz to get an RBI in this spot here tonight. I said this earlier today. I was stuck between 3 dudes, literally. Is it Ruiz? Is it Josh Bell? Is it Garcia? And when I started taking a step back, right, can we see the forest for the trees? Sometimes you're just in it too deep. You got to step back. Look at the big picture. The Nationals team total over 3.5 made a lot of sense to me here. Do they have enough to figure it out and hold on to a run? I mean, O'Neal Cruz didn't do shit yesterday, so theoretically he's probably due to get popped. And then if you look down at the pitching staff here with Jake Irvin at a 5.62 ERA and a 1.5 whip, I'm not so confident they can win this game, but I am confident they can get some runs. So I'll take the Washington team total over 3.5 to open up our Major League Baseball card and keep it moving. A couple of thoughts I dropped inside of there. What's up, AOD? Let's go. Redbeard likes James Wood for an RBI, yeah? I can see it. For Wood to get the RBI, he either needs to knock a dong right off the first pitch, or Dylan Cruz, Nassim Nunez, and Jacob Young, one of those 3 guys has to get on base for this guy the second or third times through the order. So I like it, Redbeard. I'm down, man. I think this is a run galore fest here, and I think the runs are going to come from the national side of things. So we'll take the over 3.5. Gerald Jones on the Yankees run line. Look at this guy here. 32 home runs. KC 9 home runs. Plus Fried in great form with the new team. I do think it's a good Yankee spot. It's a little juicy for me. Spoon Bets. What's up, Spoon? Hit a 2-leg home run prop on DK. Whit and Soto. Hey, all right, man. Talked about. We took a step back. I was too stupid. It took me 2 weeks to realize I was being too stupid. Why are you trying to smack a 5-6 leg home run prop when you can just pick up 2, max the bet? If you put $50 on it, you can pick yourself up $1,500 or $2,000. What are we doing here? That's good money. That's a mortgage payment right there. I mean, come on. David Wallace's BetMGM has a no sweat home run bet as well as DK. Now let's get that. All right. I will keep that in mind too. We will play the limits game between those two. BetMGM as well. I'm glad to hear that, man. That makes me happy. Sometimes I wonder if anybody listens. Thank you. That makes my night, Spoon. Thank you, man. Let's go. Congrats, by the way. Congrats on the 2-hitter. Bobby Witt was, you guys talked about him in the chat too yesterday. It was just a great call. I like Bobby Witt too, but we're not going to talk about the Yankees game, but I like Goldschmidt tonight. Goldschmidt and Flora. Renfroe and Goldschmidt were the 2 guys that made my. There's a color coding process that goes into. You can't see the green because it's green screen. So there's a green strike and then a purple strike and an orange strike and then a pen strike. That goes through the process of trying to narrow those guys down. So those 2 were the pitchers those 2 batters made the list for me on the Yankees game there. One on both sides. Looks like I have a little typo here. The Cleveland Guardians and the Baltimore Orioles. Jose Ramirez was another guy that should get there. And by the way, you have 19-mile-an-hour winds in that Yankees game as well? I mean, it's hitting conditions galore. You got 19-mile-an-hour winds in this Guardians game. That's what I said to Sharpie earlier today. I was like, man, I got excited breaking down this card today because, I mean, I took some extra time to go through it. Looks like an iTech project. I take a step back. I grab a cup of coffee. I circle back to it. And, just like to take a couple passes at it so I don't forget or I don't overlook or I don't make a mistake in this case here. And I think the mistake would have been taking Jose Ramirez for the RBI in this Cleveland game. As much as I like Jose Ramirez here, this dude has been struggling as of late. 3 hits and 23 at-bats. That is not going to get her done, despite whacking a 214 against ground chuck Charlie Morton. I see how I screwed that up. Charlie Morton is the starting pitcher for the Orioles, and Charlie Morton is sporting an 8.78 ERA. So if you're new to baseball, that's not good. We talk about goals against average in hockey. ERA is almost an identical. It's pretty. It would be the most closest sport measurement, I would say, between goaltenders and starting pitchers. Arguably 2 of the most important players on each team. But also goes into my theory. I don't care who the starting pitcher is, and I don't care who the goaltender is. So that being said, ground chuck's 0-3 to start the season. He does have 17 Ks, but he's walked 8 dudes. He's just got no control, command, or stuff right now. The 3 measurables that major league pitchers work with out there. Not out of any of them. And Baltimore, lots of guys to like on this Baltimore team as well. Gunnar Henderson, Jordan Westberg, Adley Rutschman, of course, is a spot that I like to get involved. Tyler O'Neill, 2 guys that should absolutely fucking dominate on this game here tonight. Should be Tyler O'Neill and Jordan Westberg. I almost put together a 4-legger. Ramirez, Santana, Westberg, and O'Neill all to catch RBIs tonight, just because that's how excited I was about these guys and what their current form looks like. Despite how I just kind of shit on Jose Ramirez, he's still Jose Ramirez, right? Still Jose Ramirez. He still shows that he's got more at-bats than anybody against ground chuck. Gerald Jones says ground chuck's 133 years old. Jerry Davis likes Cleveland. I'll tell you what I like. Suspense. I like runs. Told you thought Jover did my card tonight. We're looking at this game here. It opened up as a -156 for Baltimore. Hasn't really moved on either side. So you have 66% of the bets and 62% of the cash. I would speculate that a little bit of bigger money is coming in on the Guardians, but I would speculate it's coming in simply because of the price tag. They're getting $1.30. Going to help maximize the ROI. 98% of the bets, 97% of the cash have come in on the over. Now, that did move. That did go from an 8.5 to a 9. Allen's got that 3.6 ERA. Neither one of these pitchers has a win yet. I don't know that we see it. I think we do see runs in this game, though. I like this one to be a big opportunity to see this score. And here's a couple of thoughts for you guys as we're talking about runs in this game. Let me pull up my notes here for the runs in this game. Where'd you go? Where did you go? Here. Baltimore finds themselves 6-0 to the over after allowing more than 6 runs the previous game. When their defense or their outfield is weak and suspect, it continues to carry on, and they're losing, or the over is cashing by 2.3 runs per game. The other one I kind of like that correlates here is looking at this Allen stat. When Allen had a pitch count of greater than 67 his previous game, and he faced no more than 25 batters. So kind of tough, not finding the groove, right? He's not finding the zone, and he's not striking dudes out and getting them out of there. He's 14-0 to the over. He's going over by 3.2 runs per game as well. Probably a first 5 over. I'm going to go with the full game at the 8.5 here. I want to maximize these great bats and what I think are great opportunities to produce runs in this game and capitalize on getting those numbers over that threshold. So I'll take the full game. I'll take the intersecting zeros. And I'll take the Angels and Cooch facing the Texas Rangers. Boy, I was fucking sloppy today. What's going on here? I didn't put the starting pitcher in for Texas either. What am I doing? I doing today? It's Molly. Molly with a 1.32 ERA for the Texas Rangers does have himself 2 wins. That makes sense. Just like we talk about in hockey, goaltender standing on his head, team catches wins. When Molly's going out there shooting a 1.32 ERA, team's 2-0. The Angels have Kikuch. Kikuch does not have his stuff, that is for sure. No command. Struggling right now with a 5 ERA. Thing about it is, I think he's 0-2. This is another one of those spots where I was looking at like Cleveland. Players that should be performing, and I talked about this on Sharpie's show earlier today. You know, one of the underrated players here that's kind of lying in the weeds is the 23-year-old second baseman for this Los Angeles Angels team. And I like him. I rather like him quite a bit. Kyron Paris, be his name out there. And he was drafted in the second round back 2018, I think I said. And look, he completely rebuilt his swing this offseason. He's got great complementary pieces in his off. And I talked about this and said, you know, it's just like a UFC fighter. He changed camps. He went into a performance institute to help him rebuild his swing, and he is one of the best in Major League Baseball to do it right now across the board. Part of the reason why this Los Angeles Angels team has themselves 9 wins. Furthermore, as you look down the lineup for this Angels team, yeah, they got Trout, and he's somehow still healthy. So that's a big thing going on. On the other side of things, when you look at what's happening with the Texas Rangers, Semien, Seager, Darno, there's a lot of guys in here that can capable of making hits in contact. Taylor Ward, Tavares, Garcia, Rangfo. I mean, there's just underlying sneaky. Look at Josh Young. This guy's ability to go out there and make some production happen. If I'm shadowing it, it's because I am. I'm not a fan of these pitchers. I am a fan of these batters, and I think that leads to runs. Collectively, when we talk about this lineup, it started at minus 116. It has moved a little bit towards the Rangers. 67% of the bets and 69% of the cash have moved towards Texas. I get it. Part of the reason I think it moved towards Texas is they were originally supposed to start, was it Corbin? Yeah, they were supposed to start Patrick Corbin. They changed it up. It's not Corbin Day, but it's still Kikuchi Day. With that 5 ERA and a 1.28 whip, 15 hits over 3 starts. I mean, if you get a plate appearance against Kikuchi, there's a good chance you're getting on base. And that kind of pivots back to why I like that Kyron Prince to find a way to smack in some runs out there. I think there's a lot of good running opportunities on both sides of this thing. Preferred had Corbin still in there. But I do think it's an offensive-oriented game. There's too much talent on both sides of this thing for me not to see this thing result in runs for us out there. And I'm going to take a shot at it. You know, I think this is one of those underrated series that we'll probably see again later on. Globe Life Field, 73 degrees, all the elements in place for hitters to go out there and perform. And I think if you want to get real sneaky, this is sneaky because they're supposed to be Corbin. I do believe if they have the starting pitcher designated and they yank his ass out, the batters that were getting coached up before the game to get ready to play Corbin are sitting there going, what the fuck? What are we supposed to do now? I still think the Angels team total over 2.5 in the first 5's got good value, and it's sitting there priced around plus 150. Because I get it. I get Molly out there. I'm just not buying it. Just not buying. And then if you look at the runs, as I mentioned, it still moved from 8.5 to 9s. After they announced that it was going to be Molly and not Corbin, it didn't move back. It's not like we saw buy back on the other side of things here. This thing started at, well, like I said, I was looking at the wrong game. I just looked back. I was like, Cubs, Padres. Did it really start at 7.5? No. Angels, Texas Rangers, 8.5. That's the way we're going to get after it here. Get us another over. My card looks like Jovers today. Fortunately, that's it for us in baseball. There are no more overs for me to play in this game. But hopefully I gave you guys some consideration for some other RBIs as well. Shout out to Cameron Sinnett. There he goes. Ivan who? That's right. Hell yeah, man. That's a good one. That was a good one. Big Scott says, sounds like a first 5 over in the Texas game. I don't disagree with that either. I love it. Jerry Davis says, Allen's not very good, but Baltimore can't hit left-handed pitchers. Stop Geo's asking about Ryan Mountcastle. Dinger, 700 on DraftKings. Sign me up. Breaks versus lefties. I didn't really see too much of a I didn't see too much disparity between lefty and righties today when I was looking at the numbers. We'll have to see how it plays out. Let's roll on. We got a lot of games still to get to here. Pick up a little pace. Keep her moving. Even started early. Peter Grassi says, unreal new stadium if you're ever in Texas. Okay. Floating holiday for Gerald Jones, spending the day with his daughter. Nothing screams go out and have some cocktails tonight like a floating holiday. The Leafs and the Sabres are going to pop off here. And yeah, you heard me talk about McLeod at the start of the show. I gave you guys quite a few player props to consider in this game. Buffalo wants this game. Buffalo's been taking the belt from the ass of the hand of the Toronto Maple Leafs, if you follow that along with me. I don't know what happened there, but Toronto travels well to Buffalo. Part of the reason, and Pennybaum's can attest to this, the tickets are like $1,000 a piece to go watch a game in Toronto, but it's only an hour and a half drive from Toronto to Buffalo, and the tickets are like $30 a piece in Buffalo. So Toronto does travel well, and that's a big reason behind it. However, they were supposed to start James Reimer. They've confirmed it will be Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. And it was a bad loss the other day for the Sabres, 7-4 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. I thought that game was going to go under. They were down there in Florida. It was not an under. Actually, I don't remember if they're down in Florida or not. I'm sorry. But look, yeah, they were in Florida, right? Because they had the Florida Panhandle. Because he played Florida Panthers before that. He saved 32 of 34 shots. So that was a shootout loss. That was the second leg of a back-to-back. That's what happened in that spot out there. The Maple Leafs have picked up 3 in a row. 2 games left on the season. Stolarz will play in net for them. He's been pretty exceptional with a 2.21 goals against average. He's got 2 shutouts in his last 3 starts. We'll start there. The Sabres team have had a 3-game losing streak after going on that little 5-6 game run. Like once they got their balloon popped for the playoffs, things did not move in a much more positive direction for this Buffalo Sabres team, and they have been picking up the losses ever since. But I'm going to go with them tonight. I'm going to take a sneaky Buffalo spot here, and I'll tell you why. I think the movement from Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, or from Reimer to Pekka Luukkonen, shows where their heads are at in this thing. You got reverse line movement. Everybody's betting the Leafs. 87% of the bets, 87% of the cash. The lines come down 22 cents. Toronto still does have that 1 game left, and I don't want to fall for the same spot that I made a mistake the last time with Buffalo when they were playing Carolina with the look ahead. But Toronto played at Carolina. This is the second leg. It's not a back-to-back, but it's the second leg of a road trip. This is their 3rd game in 6 nights, but it will be their 3rd of 4 on the road. And then they go back home to finish the season off against Detroit before starting the playoffs on Saturday. Team that's got nothing really they got, I guess they're kind of battling with Tampa, sort of, maybe, for some playoff positioning here. I think they're jockeying around between Florida, Tampa, and Toronto. But Atlantic Division dogs have been reigning through. When you're a home dog, you have at least a day's rest and a 6.5 on a total. The home dog in the Atlantic Division is 14-4. 14-4. Also, we have the 6 has moved to 6.5, and the under, if it went under and they move it to 6.5, it still goes under, is back in play as well. I'll be damned if I'm going to touch an under on the Sabres at this point. I think with McLeod needing a goal to get out there to get his 20th spot out there on the season, I think a plus 140 price tag on the Sabres. I think a plus 475 or whatever the price tag was on McLeod to score a goal are 2 great ways to attack this game. One of the 2 comes in, you're in the profit. If both of them come in, you smack like 6 units on 2 plays. And you can't ask for more than that in the end of a season spot where Buffalo does want to try to exact some revenge against a team that has just kicked the shit out of them time in and time out to wrap the season up here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go one. Philly Kill says he's never heard the term floating holiday. It's like a PTO day. Paid time off. Personal time off, whatever you want to call it. I've heard of it. I won't say it. I was going to say it, but I won't say it. I almost got in trouble one time because all right, never mind. I'm not going to tell that story. That person's crazy enough to be listening to me. Maybe with some cocktails on a live stream. The Anaheim Ducks, and somebody remind me about my paid time off story, and if I trigger the right spirit, I'll mention it to everybody. The Anaheim Ducks and the Minnesota Wild will face off against each other in a spot that arguably has meaning behind it. Minnesota, arguably, is probably not the best term to use here. Minnesota does need to pick up some points here. Minnesota will go to Gustafsson as their goaltender. The Anaheim Ducks will go to Dostal. Dostal 23-23-6 on the season with a 3.17 goals against average. Gustafsson 30-19 on the season, 2.6 goals against average. Ducks are not scoring. Again, the Ducks have found their way into Skidsville with a 10-3 outscoring metric over the last 2 games. If you're not scoring, you're not winning. They're 0-2. Dostal lets up 3 goals on 24 shots in his last game against the Colorado Avalanche. It is the Avalanche. Minnesota needs 1 point to make the playoffs. That's it. One single point. All I can tell you about this game is I'm on the Ducks. I got the Ducks on the puck line. We're going to go back to it. I know our guy Ramon Scott talked to us about this earlier in the season. At the plus 1.5 price tag at minus 110, the Sharp Respected betting report came through, and they are hammering on this Anaheim Duck spot. The line's actually come down as well. So considering Minnesota needs this win and needs a point, the fact that the most attractive book, by the way, for the Anaheim Ducks is not FanDuel. Oh, I know what I was going to mention. Shit, I forgot. First 5 under in that Atlanta game. Atlanta and Toronto. First 5 under. It was a late minute ad. Speaking of, I'm glad I brought that up. The situation between the FanDuel sports books out there, where I talked about it yesterday, the 4 goes to 3.5, and FanDuel's still offering a 4 or even a 4.5 with a shitload of juice. Those games are flying over, as we saw in that Pittsburgh Nationals game yesterday. Today it's the opposite. 4.5s have come down to 3.5s, but there's still a couple 4s out there, and they're not with FanDuel. It's not the only reason behind it here. I mean, we can talk about Kevin Gausman. I don't want to change gears and go all the way back to baseball here, but I took the first 5 under 4 in that spot out there. I do like Austin Riley to smack some balls around the yard here today, but I'm going to take the first 5 under 4 in that. Spencer Schwellenbach, good start to the season already. He's gone 20 innings. Reliability is the key factor in that thing. He's only let up 1 run. And Kevin Gausman has turned his shit around from the previous year. 2.3 ERA to get his season started as well. So reliability, dependability between those 2 pitchers, and then FanDuel. That's why I waited to the last minute, was because FanDuel didn't have that best number. And then back to this Anaheim Ducks game. FanDuel does not have the best number in this game, which is a big factor for me. If you guys are new here, I've tracked it before, and FanDuel having the best number kicks my ass. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just that they're a square book. I don't know what the fucking problem is, but it's FanDuel's problem. It's not my problem. All I know is I better recognize it, because if I don't recognize it, I'm going to be paying the man. And that's the last thing I want to be doing here. Respected Sharp Betting did come in on this Anaheim Ducks. And I like it. I'm going to sprinkle the money line because it's a huge price tag. And I want to go after some prices here to close the NHL season off. Much like I was saying, the Flyers are too stupid, plus money price tag. The Blackhawks, plus money price tag. That number's come way down. The Bruins, plus money price tag. The Sabres, plus. It's not just the only reason why I'm trying to take a shot at them, but they're down to like last games of the season. They're at home, these teams, for the most part, so they're going to want to give their fans a little something. And if you're looking for motivation to finish your season off in the Anaheim Ducks, closing the door and nailing the coffin on the Minnesota Wild would be a hell of a statement to finish the season and roll into next year or in the offseason. Start getting a little, something that these kids can build around out there in Anaheim, because they are a predominantly young staff. Great jerseys this year. I love those orange jerseys. I thought they were fire. But I do think there's some motivation to go out there and beat these boys up a little bit. Smack them in the mouth. Maybe use your open palm, though. You don't want to piss them off too bad, though. I think it's a good spot for us to take this. Again, sharp perspective betting coming in on these guys here. I wish I had any more. I just gonna take the plus money price tag here and think that Anaheim, despite their woes and ways here, Minnesota's not out there scoring goals in a fucking rapid expense either here. Kaprizov is back, so there are some components back in this offensive lineup, but they're still kind of not entirely. I just not bought on this team. I don't really like this Minnesota. I've bet on them a few times, and every time I bet on them, they fuck me. So I'll take the puck line. 3-2 game. They just won against Vancouver. They lost. When they win, it's by 1. When they lose, it's by 2 or more. Evidence, they won 3-2 against Vancouver. They lost 4-2 against Calgary. They won 8-7 against San Jose. They won 3-2 against Dallas. They lost 3-1 against the Islanders. We'll take the Ducks on the puck line. Respected bettors involved with it. They're going right for the big score. I may fatten up the big score depending on how some of these early plays start for us there, but let's go Utah, St. Louis. This is a battle that is on the line. It is a big deal. We look at these goaltenders out there. Now, Utah, look, they pulled the games. They pulled the shenanigans. They sat their starting goalie. Vejmelka, guy ran like 27 straight starts. So he finally sits. They win 7-3 against Nashville. Nashville's officially puked. They're choked. They're checked. Whatever you want to call them, they're done. And Vejmelka's 2.52 goals against average. St. Louis is in the position on this game that can clinch the playoffs with a regular season or regulation victory. They got Binnington in net, so they've maneuvered it so their best goaltender goes out there. He's got a 2.72 goals against average. He has been pretty shitty since the start of April. He's catching wins, but that's because St. Louis was catching wins. I think that those folks that are just looking to say, well, we saw that St. Louis blew their gas and it's time to fade them now. I don't think that's doing the due diligence here. I think the St. Louis team in the Central Division in an under capital with the playoffs on the line at home with a roaring crowd is plenty enough to get involved here. They have been one of the hottest teams in hockey since the Four Nations Cup, since the All-Star break out there. And despite Binnington not having the best record, he does find himself 10-4 since the start of March. His goals against average is sub 2.5, so he's playing better than he has on the entirety of the year. And it's postseason time for the Utah Mammoth out there. Get a fucking name and come back and play some hockey next year. Stop with this hockey club nonsense. They're a defensive-oriented squad. We've seen that. They don't like to shoot. They like to block pucks. And that leads to unders with a big goaltending under on the other side of things with Jordan Binnington, despite the fact that hasn't had the greatest spot out there. There's still a big home team for the St. Louis Blues, 23-14-4 on home ice this year. I think they skate themselves into the playoffs with this one. And we'll finish her up with the Kings and the Kraken. Move this thing along for you guys here. An hour's never enough. We even started a little earlier today. An hour's never enough. David Rittich, Red Light Rittich, Joey Decord will play on the other side for the Seattle Kraken. Tail end of a back-to-back for the Kings. Kings won last night. Kings in regulation. Good money to be had out there. And it was an under, which was really good money to be had out there because it was 5-0. They completely shut down the Oilers. They actually got a chance to put Rittich in. I don't know why they did it. It was kind of a weird thing, but it was the third period. They sat Kemper. I guess maybe because they knew they beat Edmonton. And give your guys sneak in as much rest as you can, which tells me the psyche of where this Los Angeles King team's at. The Kraken, on the other hand, 4-3 win over the Blues. They do want to end on a positive. I get that. I don't know if I can get involved in that, though. They're just not scoring again. 23 of 25 saves, 92%. They lose 2-1 to Vegas. Goaltender's playing better than his overall average on the season at 2.74. He's down to a 2.69. And they're just not winning. They're not scoring. They're not scoring. I shouldn't say winning. They're just not scoring. Collectively, what we do have is that Pacific Division factor again. We talked about Pacific Division teams playing each other and the unders reign true. How about this one? In a rematch spot. You gave the puck away 10 or more times. The game went under. Your last game went under. Teams got no rest. 6-21 to the under. That says the Kings under is the play for this game. That's good enough for me. I'll take a factor that these two teams played under. They just went under. They're in the Pacific Division. That's an under. Everything about this one says junder. Overbalance this one with my overs from the MLB side of things there to close out the NHL card. Atlanta, the NBA play-in tournament. I don't care. This is playoffs. This is playoffs. Why is it not playoffs? Somebody tell me why it's not playoffs. Shout out to Jim Dewiger. Dewiger in the house. Sorry, Jim. Butchered your last name, my brother. Good to see you, though. Welcome back. Jerry Davis says, Wood's got that RBI already. Peter Grassi says, DraftKings minus 120. Anaheim plus 1.5. Yeah, but what are the best numbers out there? I don't know if you're saying that as in that they have the best number. No, they don't have the that MGM's got a minus 118 or 116. All right. It was mostly the money line that I was looking at that wasn't the best number in that one as well. I think these NBA games are playoff games. If it's got play in the front part of the word, it's playoffs. It's not playing with themselves. It's playoffs. And so the NBA playoffs start tonight, in my estimation. One team has the opportunity to advance and lock things down. The other team has the opportunity to go home and get fucked. Well, not go home, but play one last game to see if you're fucked or not. The Hawks and the Magic, the Grizz and the Warriors. I'm going to take a stab at both these games here. This line opened at 5. It's moved to 6 in favor of the Orlando Magic. 41% of the bets, 42% of the cash. So the public loves their road dogs. I feel like every time I say that, it's the kiss of death. Total's gone from 218 to 220.5 with 89% of the bets and 90% of the cash. The money line has moved to a plus 206. It's a minus 235 if you're going to go swallow up this Orlando Magic side of things. These records for both these games are just incredibly tight. It's unbelievable to see exactly what the numbers are. And yeah, we know that when we look at Orlando, they can tendency to be an under team. And we know that Atlanta doesn't like to play defense. Defense be damned. So what happens? Well, my overall thought process is defense wins championships. Now, the benefit is Orlando puked up that last game. They just played Atlanta to end the season, 117-105. 117-105 finished off the season. The outro hurts our numbers, AOD. Everybody leaves before the outro's over. That hurts us. It hurts us. It's better after we hit the end button right now. And you guys going, wait, is the show over? Because it does hurt. It hurts the algorithm. I still do it, but it hurts the algorithm. 117-105 was that last game that these two teams just played against each other. And that was, 2 nights ago. So here they go, ready to roll, see if they can't rip it up. And we got the revenge factor. In the NBA, the home team laying 5 or more points in a revenge spot is 157-105. Those numbers are further compounded if you're in a back-to-back Eastern Conference. Favorite as the loser the previous game, 80-39 are those teams as well. I split this in half. I don't know if Orlando's going to gas out trying to keep up with an up-tempo team or not, but I know they're home. I know they got the revenge. I know they got to start motivated. This is making an intro. Too much cursing to be an intro. I'll see what I can do. I do like it. But the intro's fucking fired over here too, man. It's tough. I told Jay Peasy, you gave me something so good, I don't know how to use it. Like I said, I don't know if this team's going to gas out or not. I don't know if Orlando's going to get tired of trying to keep up pace. I will take the advantage of the revenge. I will take the spot that it is playoffs. They do have to start fast. They do have to get it rolling. And they do have to find a way to play some defense. I do think that the up and down the court could find these boys tiring out towards the end, but this could be good. They're both going to be good games, I think, tonight, which is so odd for me to say because I just have such a disdain for the NBA. But the Magic at home, I'd give them the edge, 28-13 against the spread. The Hawks on the road, 14-21 against the spread in this case here. Again, the revenge factor, the immediate revenge, the home revenge, all the factors going along with it. Give me the Orlando Magic to start out hot. And if they're down at halftime, I'll fire back on them again to win the game outright. That's the way I'm going to attack that game. Last game on the card, we'll run the outro. The Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors will take over in the West Coast for that playoff game. See, if it was a play out game, then I could see it. I don't know. Play in, the opposite of in is out. Play on, the opposite of on is off. Play off. So there's deep insight from your boy, Pim Slap, P-O-D. No movement on this line. It started at 7. It has not moved from 7. 52% of the bets and 54% of the cash are on the Grizz. Again, look at the records. It's remarkable that these, I like the setup. 231.5 goes down to 227.5. 88% of the bets and 87% of the cash on the over. It has come down. You have reverse line movement on this over. And we got a kind of a, I don't want to say a similar situation. I mean, look, Golden State's been a win-one, lose-one team. Here's my thought process on this game. This is just some insight on the way that I think the game is going to go. Golden State's not the team that they were. The fact that they're sitting here in the play-in game to me says Grizzlies probably win this fucking game outright. Now, would it surprise me that Golden State takes their fucking shoes off and beats the Grizzlies with them? No. That wouldn't surprise me either. It's a tricky game on both sides of the house. I'll tell you this. The Grizzlies, I would rather have the 7 than not. And some of this factor comes into that Steph Curry that I talked about. What does Steph Curry do as the 7 seed? He's never won. So, that just says that this is an out of place team when you look at what's going on. Now, the other side of things says the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are 0-9-1 as a 3 or more point dog with less than 2 days rest. They're 0-18 when they scored 113 points or more the last game, but did not trail by 25 points or more when they were in a battle. They were against the Mavericks. They scored 132 points. They did not fall behind by 25 points or more. That just says they weren't playing much defense. It's not like they took the third and the primary players out on Dallas' side of things and Memphis ran it up against the second squad. That's not what happened in that game. They just didn't try because I don't think they had shit to play for, and they were in a position to go out there and fire. So the angle that I chose to attack for this game is the under. The reason I like the under in this spot here, we got a nice little 63% trend. Team lost its last game at home. The total went over. Playoff game. That's right. Playoff game and a home team. 63%. They lost. It went over. They didn't play defense either. Now, do they not need to play defense because they had a playoff game upcoming? Going back to 2018, that's 7 years of data winning at a 63%. The home team losing an over the previous game comes into the playoffs at home and it stays under. That's why we've seen this total drop from 231 to 227.5. That's why my money is going to be on this Golden State under 227. If you want a couple more player props, I'll toss those out at you too. Nobody's asked for them, but I told you, I got a shitload of, I spent a lot of time today digging in. Dyson Daniels, that Hawks and Magic game. I like his steals out there. Zach Edey over 8.5 points. Take a shot at that. And then take Podziemski over 2.5 threes. There's a plus money stinger to beat these books to close the night. That's the way we're going to get to the window, you guys. Appreciate everybody. Do me a favor. After the video, take a second to go into the comments of the recording here and just drop in your favorite play. Drop in a number. Drop in a thanks. Drop in a THX. Drop in an OK. Drop in a $sign. Do me one of those favors here. That does help us a ton. We want to trick this algorithm, keep boosting this show, and get this thing rocking and rolling so that we can keep making more money with you guys, bringing in more sharper cappers and all the rest. On behalf of the Sports Money crew, check out my man, Ramon Scott, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., the morning steam. Good luck with your bets. Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. We don't stop. Rain, sleet, or snow. Pregaming is good to go. Snow, Curtis, blow, flow,